Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to have a very busy day tomorrow with not just one, but two big gaming events happening. That's right, we have a Nintendo Direct in the morning, and then we have a Sony State of Play later on in the afternoon. And of course, they happen to just fall on the same day, which is going to make coverage crazy tomorrow. There's going to be stuff happening all over the place, and you know what? It's pretty exciting. So let's take a look at both of these events here today. Guys, if you enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here to the Spawnwave Plus channel. Let's start with Sony, actually, here with their State of Play. It's, again, returning tomorrow. A focus on upcoming indie and third-party releases. So there was an initial bout of excitement when this got announced. You can see it here, Thursday, September 14th, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And the excitement was, oh, great, Sony is having a State of Play. They don't really have, I guess, a lot that's known, I should say, after Spider-Man 2 from a first-party perspective. We know that they have some live service games coming up. I'm thinking of Fair Games, for example, from Haven. But I think people are more looking towards like Sucker Punch, right? That being a big one after what they did with Ghost of Tsushima. What's the follow-up going to look like there, as we are all figuring they're going to do a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima? Maybe something from Sony Santa Monica, Naughty Dog. The list, again, goes on and on and on with some of their first-party studios that have been pretty quiet. Unfortunately, you scroll down here, and that's kind of where reality sets in when they said that they are excited to announce a new State of Play broadcast streaming tomorrow with a focus on updates to previously announced games coming to PlayStation consoles, from indie and PSVR 2 highlights to major upcoming titles from our third-party partners. Our latest show has something for everyone. So it is unfortunate because earlier this year when they had their showcase, there was once again definitely a focus, I would say, on third-party games as opposed to seeing some of these big-time single-player games from Sony. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man 2, that was a big focus. That's coming out in just over a month now. So that's exciting. But I think people are just ready to see what really the second half of the PlayStation 5 generation, which is weird to say that, but I mean, yeah, we're about to be 3 years in to this current generation, even though it doesn't necessarily feel like it's really gotten going with all the momentum you would expect 3 years into a system's life. But I think that's what people are hoping is, okay, what is the roadmap looking like in the next 4 years, for example? As we know, Sony will announce games well in advance, right? So that's kind of where people are left now is, okay, third-party partners, PSVR 2, games that have already been announced. That's kind of where your expectations should be. Not even going into seeing anything brand new over the top. So I'm thinking right now of Stellar Blade, for example. That needs a release date. Apparently it was coming out still in 2023, I guess, although it is September, so it would be a pretty quick announcement for release, and then it would come out. And you also have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that coming out the first quarter or first half of next year. I mean, those are two pretty big examples of games that we already know about from third parties that we're just kind of waiting to hear release dates for. And the other one would be Helldivers 2. While that is Sony publishing it, it's from Arrowhead, and they're not owned by Sony, so you could technically make the case for that. But that's another one we're waiting for a release date on. And I think that would be one, as I mentioned before, that would be a good release into PlayStation Plus Premium to continue adding value to a service that had a pretty big spike in terms of price increase recently. But looking at this, I don't know if I have my expectations, I'll say, through the roof for this one. I will see some games. It'll be fun, but this isn't the PlayStation showcase level with first party all over the place like I think people are hoping for. But on the flip side, we do have a Nintendo Direct happening earlier in the day, which we can see. This is their page that they currently have up over on their site, saying, tune in for a Nintendo Direct live stream featuring roughly 40 minutes of information focused on Nintendo Switch games releasing this winter. That's 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And it's interesting because I think a lot of predictions videos going into this kind of figured we hear about stuff in like the first half of 2024 as well. Although it is very important to note that they are saying winter, and we know how these release windows can go when they are mentioning seasons. since technically winter does go into the first quarter of 2024, you could make the case that, yeah, we're going to hear about stuff in January, February, and March. And that would make a lot of sense to me. We could also potentially see a couple of games that maybe are still coming out this year. Just continue to pack more and more games into what and I'm sure many people assume to be the Switch's final holiday, where it's just this current system. We kind of figure going into 2024, we'll start hearing about and then eventually seeing and then releasing Nintendo's next system. And that would be the primary focus, launching this new console next holiday season. So this is kind of that, I guess, last hurrah for the current system going into the holiday. But 40 minutes, there could be some pretty good stuff here. And I do still wonder if they have that one more thing up their sleeve that involves Metroid Prime 4. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on there. Otherwise, definitely a focus on some other games that they have already announced, along with a couple of surprises. I did a kind of a predictions video over the weekend, building up to this expectation that there would be a direct this week. So I would definitely check that video out too if you want a bit more in-depth thought around what I think could be here. But it's definitely exciting to have a state of play and a direct, even though it is on the same day, and that will be pretty busy, obviously, with coverage of games and a ton of announcements. Usually with a direct, we see anywhere between 20 to 30 games getting shown off. And then the state of play, I feel like we'll probably have a good 6 to 8 titles. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of stuff happening tomorrow. And then there's always the possibility of shadow drops of games, as we've seen recently with Nintendo in their directs. That's a pretty consistent thing. So definitely exciting stuff here as we head into Tokyo Game Show, which again, these both kind of play into that. I'm expecting different titles that are shown here. We'll also have that expectation of being marketed further during Tokyo Game Show. So keep that in mind, just kind of the thought process around what games could be here. It'll definitely play into the idea of it being more geared towards that Tokyo Game Show marketing and audience. But I'm excited, looking forward to some of these presentations tomorrow. And then we'll start to run into Tokyo Game Show, where we'll see presentations from other third parties. So games coming out all over the place, more games getting revealed, events happening. It's definitely a lot of fun stuff going on right now in games. So what I think I'm going to do for tomorrow, Newswave in the morning, probably a quick reaction to the Nintendo Direct, and then a reaction to the state of play later on, I guess, and then Newswave the following morning, just recapping everything. Again, a lot's about to happen. And it's gonna be fun. Very hectic, but definitely fun. Let me know what you guys think about this, though, down below in the comments when it comes to Sony not necessarily focusing on their first-party studios here, more third parties and games we've already heard about, and then the wild card, obviously, with Nintendo. What else do they have up their sleeve for 2023, and how much do they want to tell us about 2024? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.